I'm really excited about this one. Just the fact that Muppets are always a good Christmas special. Whether it's a TV special, a movie special, Muppets are
Not
special.
not to mention this is one of your favorite things when we were growing up was anything that was Jim Henson Muppets.
Well, I just remember it's like every family just seemed to have that one VHS tape that was just chock full of specials. You know, it was like you had your Christmas tape, your Easter tape, your Thanksgiving tape. Just had like all these great things, and this was definitely one that we watched every year. It's like this and a bunch of other random like Smurfs and Rankin Bass. This is
Oh,
the
the
one that I
Reagan.
look forward to. I was like, oh, your Burl Ives classics.
I mean, I haven't watched them in a long time. I didn't forget about them. I just haven't watched them in a while.
I
Um,
definitely don't watch them as regularly as I do, the Jim Henson, Christmas seasonal stuff.
for it.
I'm not really sure how many '90s kids really remember this because it didn't get released on VHS for a few years after. Because A Muppet Family Christmas was released by ABC December 16th, 1987.
Yep.
So we were just pups when this came out initially, but yeah, it's like I guess Grandma Mary and Mom they just knew that it's like these boys really like the Muppets. Let's go ahead and record this. It just became part of our regular thing, and you had like an all-star cast of puppeteers. You had Jim Henson, Frank Oz, Steve Whitmire, David Goles, Carol Spinney popping up to play his signature
Big
character.
Bird.
Yeah, and of course the great Jerry Parks from. I did not realize, because we all know him from as Doc from Fraggle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But until I was doing the background, I didn't realize that he was also the guy who ran the bar with Tourette's in Boondock Saints. He was
Oh
like
wow.
beep ass all the time. And it's got other fans too because I was looking up some facts and TV Guide ranked it number 6 on the top 10 family holiday specials.
That's actually believable, but hard to believe at the same time because apparently this special does not air any longer because the Sesame Street and the Muppets no longer share an affiliation, and the Fraggle franchise is pretty much dormant. So it's
That's sad.
supposedly it is a huge issue with licensing for them to air this. Like it would cost a lot of money just to air it. So that's why it's apparently really hard to find it, which I'll share it with everyone now, but it's on YouTube. You can watch it there. I don't know how much longer it'll be there, but you can watch it on YouTube.
That's where I watch it every year. I no longer have that bootleg tape or a VCR plugged up on the regular. But no, it's so good, and it just seems like when you bring it up, people always like, "Oh yeah, it's like the one with Michael Caine and all that." And it's like, no, that's a completely different one, but
That's
it
the
is Muppets and
Christmas
Christmas.
Carol. Yep, yep.
Or they like go to the other one. I can't remember. It's a newer one, but it's a Muppet Christmas
I
something or
thought
other. But
I
they just
always miss. I thought when you guys were talking about doing the Muppet Christmas Carol special, I thought you were talking about the newest movie, and I was like going along with it. Was like, sure, that's great. And I was like, what are these guys thinking? It's not '90s, and it's not the best of the Muppets.
I really appreciate them trying. They're trying to keep the Muppets alive. But at the
Exactly.
same time, it seems like they're slipping away from what Jim was initially going for. And
They're diverging from his original vision.
and I don't know this new run of the Muppet Babies, I'm not too tickled by. It's kind of
No.
like, yay, just in time for my daughters. And it's like, no, come over here, kids. We'll watch my old bootleg copies. Tell you what, let's go ahead and delve right into this. This magical Muppet Christmas starts off in royal fashion with a bunch of Muppets singing Christmas carols from the back of an old Chevy truck as they book it to Fozzie's mom house for Christmas. And by the looks of the snow that's falling, they might be there a little longer than just Christmas because it's really coming down on this poor Chevy truck. But the minute you hear just that Muppet choir, it's like, we need a little Christmas. Da, 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 da. And it's
Just
just
this very season. Yep.
yeah, you're just like right there on the rug, just soaking it in. It's like I don't know. It's what you need to just really kick off the festive Christmas season. But as Kermit the Frog himself asked Fozzie, if it is all right for the entire cast of the Muppet Show pops up out of the blue at an impromptu Christmas surprise, and Fozzie informs him that bears love surprises. Take that with a grain of salt, kids.
Yeah.
And his mom would probably prepping for a good old-fashioned family Christmas all by her lonesome. But the truth is that in reality, Mama Bear is bailing on Christmas this year to go to California for some sun-filled Christmas Malibu surfathon.
She's
And
gonna go work on her tan.
it's because bears need the tan, especially in the winter months. because she even went as far as to rent out her house as an Airbnb to Doc and Sprocket from Fraggle Rock, who just want a nice, quiet Christmas in the country. And they get it for about 10 seconds. And then Fozzie bursts in through the door delivering all the news that he was home for the holidays, and so are all of his friends, much to the dissatisfaction of Doc and Sprocket. But much to our delight, is one of the best Christmas running gags in history is about to pop up. It's like, watch out for the icy patch.
Waka waka.
It's just like, it never fails. Every time somebody's like, whoop, 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 watch out for the icy patch.
My favorite's when Rolf falls, but we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's totally coming up. But as the Muppets file in, it's like Fozzie takes the opportunity to introduce Mom to Kermit, and with a lot of mom sass in tow. She's immediately like, oh, you're the lizard. But yeah, it's like Doc is still beside himself with his nice, quiet Christmas being out the window. But Mama Bear don't want to hear any of that because she already took 3 months of surfing lessons that are likewise going out the window. And then, when you're wondering where one of our missing members is, Piggy calls to announce to Kermit that she is running late to meet up because she has a last-minute photo shoot that she just couldn't push off.
She just booked it.
Yeah, it's just like, one photographer's just like, I will work on Christmas Eve so long as I get to work for Miss Piggy. Kermit warns her about the oncoming blizzard, but Piggy ain't hearing any of it. Apparently the weather waits for this Piggly Wiggly. And no sooner had they hung up, but Swedish Chef shows up to cook the Christmas bird. At about half a tick before Christmas bird shows up, still kicking. It's just like this turkey just pops up, and Gonzo's immediately like, hey, did you just realize who you came in the door with? It's like, that Swedish guy in the white hat's going to make you sup. And the turkey's just completely not willing to believe this. Like, nah, I got this. Oh, no. His whole attitude.
The turkey has, I was supposed to say, the turkey has attitude.
He's just like, no, you get lost. I can handle the Swedish guy. It's like, it's going to be a nice weekend in the mountains for me.
That was a pretty good impression.
It's just like Gonzo just tries his best, but eventually that's just going to bite Gonzo in the butt. It's like, I'll stick the bird in the oven myself.
It does bite him later. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. But no, it's like, as Kermit clears out the kitchen of Gonzo's chicken population, his nephew Robin initiates a rousing rendition of Jingle Bell Rock, played by Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. And I gotta say, it's just like, that's one segment of the Muppet universe that is still kind of good. Because I remember watching that Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem show they have on Disney Plus, and it's actually still pretty cool. You have to be like a fan of like Deadhead biopics, because that's essentially what it felt like. It's like, what if this has-been rock band just made up of puppets is getting its day again? But now, like you were saying earlier, it's like it's time for Rolf the dog to show up with one of his jokes that actually kind of works. Oh no, it's as far as like dad jokes and small children go, it's like it's good for a laugh. So it's like, oh, we're going the whole time. Oh, my leg's tired.
It's a dog joke.
And it works. It still gets me a laugh every single time. And it's like, it's like Fozzie tells him, hey, why don't you go tell that to my mom? And Rolf's like, absolutely. And he's like, hey, Mrs. Bear, guess what? I'm going this way. Whoop. And Icy Patch just takes his legs up. And I tell you, it's one of those gags that no matter how many times it happens, you get a laugh. Just like, whoop, 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 whoop. And I love that Sprocket and Rolf like immediately start one of those conversations that dogs roll, bark. And then Doc's just like off in the corner, like, it must be lost in translation.
Like, I hate when you can't understand the language.
Oh no, it's and that's like one of those moments where you realize that Doc is actually starting to warm up a little bit to everybody.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. And then it's like Rolf goes over to the piano and it's song time again. And I can't even remember like what they ended up singing. But he's just sitting there bouncing back and forth, just enjoying it, and just, I don't know. It's always awesome when the musician member of the family shows up and starts like belting out a song. Moments are few and far between anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Getting old. While Rolf's playing the piano, Fozzie's outside singing along as if he can actually hear the piano playing. And he's building a snowman. And as he's putting the finishing touches on it, the snowman joins in for a duet that only Bing Crosby and Bob Hope could just hope to have. Because it's such a fun moment where it's just like, Well, I hear those sleigh bells ringling, jing, jing, jingling too. This little snowman puppet just boogieing right along with Fozzie Bear. But once reality of a living snowman that tells jokes sets in, Fozzie is off to tell Kermit of his new stage partner of the Frosty persuasion. And in the process, he hits the icy patch. The guy's like, but before he can really tell Kermit about it, he is cut off from Fozzie's new pitch by Piggy calling to say that she has just a little bit of last-minute Christmas shopping to do before she can start out. And Kermit once again tries to explain that only assholes go out last-minute shopping on Christmas Eve, but Piggy hangs up and is like, kiss, kiss.
Is this the call where Animal answers, or was that the previous call where he answers and goes, hello, 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 give me present?
No, I'm pretty sure that was the one where Animal answers and he's just like, give me presents. Ah, pig. Oh, no, that's another one of those fantastic moments. There's just like, oh yeah, Animal don't give a damn. He's just all about the joys. Back to Fozzie trying to tell his frog boss about the singing snowman, but is interrupted again by Doc trying to convince Chef that Sprocket the dog is not a turkey.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't know. I've had conversations with people like this before. It's like, no, what you're thinking is true is absolutely not true. You need to stop that.
I've had more of those conversations that I'd care to discuss.
It's like, oh no, the dog is not a turkey. You are a turkey. Turkey. Just wonderful dialogue. And it seems that the turkey is behind the whole shenanigans, trying to convince the chef, which if you've got a bird trying to convince somebody that a dog is the bird and they are not the bird, yeah, I worry about Swedish Chef.
The gobbler gobbler.
Oh no, it's just like, it makes you wonder, it's like, maybe he's not really Swedish. Maybe he just talks like that. Because he's got a problem. But Scooter breaks in with some old family Muppet movies that looks like a live action Muppet Baby segment. When it's going, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, where is this? I want to see this live action Muppet Babies episode. It was just really good. And then, yeah, they're sitting there marveling. I can't remember like which was Santa Claus to Coming to Town is the song, I believe. It's like, Santa Claus is coming to town. And then it's like, once it like finally zooms in on baby Animal, and it's like, oh, Animal. Animal's like bust through the screen. It's like, oh,
Animal.
Oh no. And I love how Doc just kind of reacts. It's just like, oh, wasn't that great? Even weirdos are cute with their babies. And that's when Gonzo pops up to be like, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. But then Gonzo's got to get real again when he has to stop Mr. Tom Turkey from trying to pick up Camilla the chicken.
He wants to take her back out to the chicken coop and they can peck and paw.
So I was like, Gonzo's like, I just tried to save your life and this is how you're going to treat me. So he is about to pluck the bird for supper. And all of a sudden, carolers arrive. But not just any carolers. It's like, it is the entire Sesame Street gang. Well, like sans the humans. Like all of the Sesame Street Muppets come wassailing along to the wassailing song that everybody has to fake their way through, because who the hell knows that song anyway?
Exactly.
But then they break into Deck the Halls, where Mrs. Bear goes off to find more room for ever-growing guest list. She's like, more guests. Lord have mercy. Oh, and it just, I don't know. So now you got all the Muppets. You've got Doc and Sprocket. Now you got the Sesame Street gang, which, I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like this is the Muppet cinematic universe coming together. This is the Muppet Avengers movie. It's weird because like the more Muppets that show up, Doc becomes more and more casual about his new housemates, making Muppet small talk while the Swedish chef starts sizing up the turkey for the oven. And the chef is just about ready to start plucking and stuffing the turkey when the turkey points out that he is actually small potatoes, points into the living room at the gigantic bird. And Swedish chef about has a stroke when he sees Big Bird.
He does. Ooh, there's a big gobbler gobbler.
Oh no, it's like, that's the best line I think Swedish chef is like, oh, the gobbler humongous.
Yeah.
He just like flings this like medium-sized cooking pan into the sink. That is easily probably my favorite one spot in this entire thing. It's like, oh, gobbler. Oh, but no, It's like Swedish Chef just like freaks out over Big Bird, and Kermit begins to worry still about his honey bunny swine, who still has not made it out of the snowstorm, as they're about to descend into like a hateful eight situation because there's just like feet of snow on the ground, and she's just like still at the airport, like trying to push cars out of drifts. This is where you really get to see what Miss Piggy is dealing with. For like, oh, I really should have left the house 3 hours earlier. Oh well. But everybody is bunking up while the Muppets banter and Cookie Monster is nom-nomming on the treats, which is great. It's like, I make cookies, cookies, and Janice just gets bum rushed. Even Animal's like, I like that guy.
He's like, who is that strange blue creature?
Yeah. I love Janice. Like, she was one of the latecomers to the Muppet Babies I was willing to forgive.
She's a pretty fun character.
Anyways, like, as they're all enjoying little festivities, Bert and Ernie decide to put on a small, extra small stage version of A Night Before Christmas, co-starring Grover and the other monsters, featuring Rolf's piano accompaniment. You know, it's awesome when you got Harry Monster and everybody popping up, and the two-headed monster actually plays Santa Claus, and this just completely blows Bert's mind. He's like, monsters can't be Santa. But Doc bursts through the door, interrupting the stage play to announce that the house that the storm outside is getting worse, just in time for Piggy to call and tell Kermit that she is just about to leave the house. The Muppet manager is sweating froggy bullets about his woman pig as Fozzie once more brings up his snowman friend. Kermit is skeptical right up until Snowman bursts in to declare that it's too cold outside for him. Oh, baby, it's cold outside. Fozzie tries to start a routine with him in the Snowman, but Statler and Waldorf just seem to pop up. It's like in typical style and haze them off the stage.
Who are old friends of Fozzie's mom.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like the only thing where it's just like, oh yeah, no, Fozzie's been hanging out, or Statler and Waldorf have been hanging out with Miss Emily Bear for so long.
See, she said they come to visit her every Christmas.
And it's just like, so what's Fozzie up to? Sucking. No, it's so great, and to the point where even the snowman can't take the heat and has to go back into the cold. But more Muppet one-liners and staples lead up to a confrontation of Swedish Chef and Big Bird. And we know where this is going, but before anything can get too violent, Big Bird diffuses the situation by singing like a Merry Christmas to you to the Swedish Chef, who breaks down like a 6-year-old girl. They bury the hatchet, and Chef tells Big Bird that dinner will now consist of shredded wheat and cranberry sauce. My favorite. It's like, oh, this is back when the world could still experience joy, and there was an innocence involved. But true. Piggy's still stuck in the snow, and not in the fun way. And Kermit is starting to worry, and it is most evident to Doc, the Muppet's new bestie. And Doc volunteers to go out into the storm to save Miss Piggy, and tells Kermit that he feels a new closeness to his new family that has taken him in, and it's incredibly sweet stuff.
It is a sweet
movie. We were all strangers just a little bit ago. Now I'm going to go and help your pig friend with absolutely no obligation whatsoever. Robin tells Kermit to come downstairs to the basement and take his mind off his pig situation. It's like, and shows his uncle a Fraggle hole, which he actually says by name, that leads to Fraggle Rock, where once more just they pull another franchise into the Muppet Cinematic Universe.
If you're feeling good, like a feeling should, pass it on. Sorry.
That's the thing is like, you know, they go down, like Kermit and Robin go down and they meet the Fraggles, like Bobo, Boober, Red. Oh no, I'm having trouble now. I'm trying to remember all their names.
You're doing better than I was.
But oddly enough, Uncle Traveling Matt is not here, but he will pop up later on. But yeah, no, I was like, the Fraggles give the frogs a pebble that has been re-gifted more than 30 times. And then bust into the original song that we were just enjoying. Because, you know, they don't have a holiday that involves Jesus or Santa down below. Nope. Down in Fraggle Rock. Kermit and his nephew are called back to the real world just in time for Piggy to show up, along with the magic chauffeur Doc and a dog sled in tow. Which is so funny. It's like all that.
She shows up in that fur coat grinning.
The fact that she was able to give Doc a fitting chauffeur fur-lined outfit. It was like, well, Miss Piggy just seemed to have all this, so I got nude in the snow and put it on. She didn't judge me. It was awful sweet of her. But they pimp up. Like, this sort of stuff happens all the time. And Piggy offers a rendition of Home for the Holidays as they make their way into the house and find and out of the snow and across the icy patch. But then they start a melody of Christmas songs, which they didn't get to sing in the first half of this thing. For just like, that's just like almost 10 minutes. They start singing Happy Holidays. Ding Dong Merrily on High. See, I saw Three Ships. I'll Be Home for the Holidays. Merry Little Christmas. Christmas bells are ringing. The bells on Christmas Day. Just to name some of the more popular songs that they sneak into here. They've got some deep cuts too, but there's no Mariah Carey that you'll have to remember for this one.
Did you pick up on the song Together at Christmas, Old Friends, New Friends? It's actually reused from the previous Muppet Christmas special, The Christmas Toy in 1986. I found that out when I was looking this up.
No, I did catch that. It was weird because I remember watching that. It might have actually been on the same tape as this, but they also had the one of the songs was from the John Denver Muppets Christmas special. I don't know.
Forgot about that one.
No, I mean, they snuck in a lot of Easter eggs people probably didn't catch that. I know I probably didn't when I was that age when this came out. But, across the years, I was like, wait a minute. I know what that's from. But, no, it's crazy. Because, and as all this is going on, all these great songs are being revisited. The cameras is sweeping across Muppets and giving certain people a Muppet solo. So it's like all your favorite pre-90s Jim Henson characters being at their most noble and silly. And speak of the devil, Mr. Jim Henson himself pops up to put the cherry on this holiday masterpiece. And he and Sprocket volunteer to do the Christmas supper dishes. Truly the greatest gift of them all.
I was wondering if you were going to mention Mr. Henson's cameo. I actually knew you would.
I was just like, I had to. That guy was like a distant uncle that just brought me so much joy growing up.
That's a true story.
And I don't know, it's just like to see him pop up and it was like, I'm so glad they could have time together. It really made you think that maybe the Muppets were their own entity. And he was just somebody that just watched from the side like, I'll watch them go. My little Muppets. The Muppets wish us all a Merry Christmas. And I'm sad to say that it's over already as the credits roll for the 4th and 5th time.
Well, you don't have to be that sad, neither do our listeners, because we have already decided that our next topic is going to be A Muppets Christmas Carol. So you guys want to tune in for that. And we're also still looking for people to share their Christmas stories of 90s past with us. So send us an email to the 90s Rewind Report at gmail.com. If you're ready to send us out, go for it.
Hi-ho, nostalgians. Thank you for joining in on our Muppet memories of Christmases past. But hold on to your hats because there's even more Muppet Christmas memories coming up. Yay!